The phrase luxury automobile brings what image or name to mind? How about the phrase affordable fast food? Does that evoke a specific thought? How about the term genius? Does that bring any name or names to mind? You see, our brain naturally sorts things into categories. It's how we maintain sanity. We unconsciously begin labeling things the moment we encounter them. Once something occupies a slot in our mind, it's rather difficult to move it to a different slot. Once we know someone one way, it can be disconcerting to know them in a different way. For example, have you ever bumped into a client at the grocery store, a sporting event, or a nightclub? Remember the awkward pause as your brain sifted through all the possibilities of your relationship with that person? The reason you were so confused was because you were seeing a familiar person in an unfamiliar setting. You labeled him or her as a business person with no context of a shopper, a sports fan, or a music lover. You branded them as a client. Now, client is the position they occupy in your mind. Now, all this ties into branding and personal branding. So what is branding? Companies spend incredible amounts of money trying to brand a positioning in our minds. The term branding itself comes from the Old West, when cowboys used branding irons to sear the name of their ranches into the hides of the cattle. Now, metaphorically, marketers are trying to burn their slogans, logos, catchphrases, and images into our consciousness. Your personal brand can easily be determined by what others say about you when you are not present. Here are some examples. No one's better at brainstorming. His ideas come faster than you can write them down. Or how about this one? He's exceptionally book smart, but sometimes lacks common sense. Or she's very dependable. Here's one. He'd be late for his own funeral. Do you ever wonder what types of adjectives others use to describe you? Assertive, wishy-washy, unreliable, well-connected, effective, cooperative, controlling, daring, empathetic, domineering, talkative, deliberate, generous. Now notice how each of these attributes, positive or negative, are based on your observable behaviors. This should strike you as very good news. You see, you can choose to change your behaviors at any time. Now, some trainers and coaches mistakenly teach this thing called attitude. But I'm going to tell you that changing your attitude rarely creates any lasting change. However, changing your behaviors will always lead to a lasting change of attitude. Here's a little exercise. Try smiling for the next 15 minutes and see what happens to your mood. Here's another little exercise. Why don't you write down everything that you have to be sincerely grateful for and see what happens to your mood? It's rather simple, isn't it? Behaviors control attitude. Behaviors can be changed. Therefore, changing behaviors changes attitude. So my suggestion is forget improving your attitude. Focus on changing your behaviors.